शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य कलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतारदोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter number 18, beginning from verse number 63. So this is the story of Diti, who was performing Kunsavan Vrata, this ceremony to get a son who could kill Indra. But she had to follow many rules, 31 of them which we read. And if she is successful in following those rules for 1 year, then she will have such a son. So when Indra heard this, he came because he was very worried. And he became a small boy and was serving her with the intention, of course, to find some flaw in her observance of these rules. And one day Diti, this is towards the very end of her vrata, maybe just few days were remaining. She was just near the touch line and she became very weak, fasting all these days, not eating normal food, eating only soup and juice. So she was tired, emaciated. In the evening she ate something and she slept without washing her mouth. slept with her head towards the west. So the third condition, and her hair were loose. Fourth. So when Indra saw this, he was immediately very happy. And he went inside her womb and cut the baby into 7. Lucky number. So they all became 7. Something like cloning. All looked similar. So Indra was very surprised that how is that they are alive and all of them are individual beings. Because we were only cutting it so somebody gave me hand and leg and hand, but they all became complete human beings. And then he cut each one of them into 7. They became 49 and all of them became 49 living beings, all inside. So then they said, why you are doing this? And he was saying, don't cry. So that's why their name became Marut. So these are the 49 Marut Devatas, the gods. And they became his brother. He says, don't kill us, we are your brother. So he did not kill them. And that's where he said that don't fear anymore. You are my brother. Ma bhashta bhratro mayam yuyam ityaha kaushika. Ananya bhavan parsadanam atmano marutam. So he said, I accept you as my brothers and don't cry. Just be with me. And he accepted them as his associates. So now in the next verse it says, Namamaradite garbha srinivasanukampaya bodha tulashakshundo dronyastrena yatha bhavan. So although he cut this womb into pieces, but the baby did not die. Namamaradite garbha. Why is that? It says because of the grace of Lord Srinivas Vishnu. Because he was doing Vishnu Vrata. And therefore the baby was not killed, although he was cut into pieces by the thunderbolt of Indra. And then he gives an example, because Sukadeva Goswami is describing this to Parikshit. He said, just like you were saved by the grace of Lord Krishna, by the weapon of Ashwatthama. Dronyastrena yatha bhavan. So when Parikshit was in the womb of his mother, Ashwatthama, son of Dronacharya, has released Brahmastra, which is like a nuclear weapon. And this weapon came to kill the baby, but Lord Krishna, he also entered into the womb of Uttara and protected. He diffused Brahmastra. Brahmastra is a weapon which cannot be counteracted. And it will never fail in its mission. But in front of Lord, nothing is powerful enough that it cannot be counteracted. So Lord Krishna used his chakra to diffuse the Brahmastra. So that's what he's saying, that Dronyastrena yatha bhavan, just as you were protected. So like that, Lord, although he was not personally protecting as in case of Parikshit, but still he protected. So the Lord says, Srinivasana. Sakrid drishtva purusham purusho yati samhitam samvatsaram kinchedunam vityaya dhari archita. He says that if one can worship Adi Purusha, the original person, Lord Krishna, even once, then he become just like him. Means nobody can kill. But to speak of Diti, she was worshipping him for almost 1 year. Kinchidmina means that maybe just few days were remaining. Otherwise she worshipped for 1 year, so therefore the baby was not hurt. सजूरिंद्रेण पंचाशद देवास्ते मरुतो भवन व्यपोह्य मातृदोषम ते हरिणा सोमपाकृतः. So along with Indra, these 49 Marutas, they came to be known by this one common name, Maruta, and not considering the defect of their mother, because the mother is Diti, the mother of the Asuras, they were given the qualification to drink Soma in the Yajna. Because in the Yajna, only the Devas are given oblations, not the Datyas. So Indra, Varuna, Chandra, Surya, they are given oblations. Vishwadevas. So Marutas also got that permission. And this is by the grace of Indra. Hari also means Indra, Hari also means Krishna. So both the means are applicable here. Ditirutha dadrishe kumaran anala prabhan Indrena sahitan devi paryatushadam indita. So when Diti, she woke up, she saw a whole crowd. "49 of them. And they were all very shiny, effulgent. And then also Indra was standing there. So she was very satisfied to see them. So he also, Indra was along with them. So all 50 of them were standing there. And athe Indramaha tata Mahavatyanam bhayavaham apatyamichati charam vratam etad suduskaram eka sankalpita putra shakta satta bhavan katham edite viditam putra satyam kathaya mamrisha. So then Aditi, when she saw this, she was very surprised. And she asked Indra, "My dear son, that I only wanted one son, because I was afraid of Indra, Adityanam Bhayavayam, who would cause fear to the son of Aditi. And I did this vrata, which is very difficult, to get one son. Ekaha sankalpita putra. So how is that I got 49? If you know this, please tell me the truth, Satyam," because he was also standing there. Kathaya Mamrisha, don't tell me any lies. So Indra was of course a little bit scared. When these 49 babies were there, he was also standing one of them, but not as Indra. First he was standing that little boy who was serving her. And then she saw, when she asked that, "How is that I got 49? Do you know anything?" Because these babies, they are delivered and she didn't even wake up. Usually there is pain in delivery. And she was only sleeping and she woke up and had 49 delivered babies. So she was amazed and surprised, so she wanted to know. So when Indra saw the mood of Diti, that she was in a good mood, having 49 sons, so then he thought, and she said that, speak the truth, don't tell me any stories. So Indra, he spoke the truth. And people, sometimes truth may be problematic. People tell lies because they can escape some problem for a short period. And if you tell the truth, maybe you are in trouble, but only for a short period. But later on, you will may be forgiven and you may feel happy. But in case of telling lies, you may solve the problem shortly. But sooner or later, somebody will discover that you told a lie, and then for the rest of your life, the person will not trust you. So it is better to be truthful. So therefore Indra, he also decided to be truthful. That if she has to curse me, she can curse me, but I will speak the truth. So he came back to his original form, and then he will tell what has happened. So being truthful is always beneficial. And as we saw earlier, this was one of the principles which Kashyapa gave to Diti, that being truthful, not telling lies. So it always actually pays to be truthful, although many times we try to hide facts to take advantage of others. But ultimately we are the loser, especially if we are in spiritual life. Material life, you can do what you like to do, it's all material gain, material loss, but in spiritual life, one should be truthful. Because with God you cannot play games. He already knows, so you cannot trick him. So better be open with him. So this is the message from here. I was reading one nice story some time ago, that some group of businessmen, they were going from one village to another village. Olden days in India, people used to walk. You have to carry their things, even horses, bullock carts, cars. And on the way, sometimes robbers will come, attack, and rob. So when they were going, some robbers attacked, and they looted them. So they were searching everybody, because in those days there were no what you call checkbooks or credit cards. And the notes were also not made of paper. They used to have made of silver. In Sanskrit, silver is called ropya. That's why the word for 1 rupee bill is called rupee. Rupiah, it comes actually from ropya, because it used to be silver. So they used to tie it around their waist. Like these days also we have these belts for carrying things around. In India they used to have that, and it will be very bulky, heavy, because it was made of metal. So they searched everybody, and whatever money they had, they took it. There was also one boy, they searched him. They didn't find anything. They asked him, "Don't have anything?" So the boy said, "No, I have." He says, "How much you have?" He says, "I have 40 rupees. He says, where is it?" "You don't find it." He says, "I have." He said, "Are you sure you are just trying to fool us?" He said, "No, I have." He said, "Then where is it?" So he had another piece of cloth, and inside they were sewed. So he showed them, "Look, it is here." So the chief of the robber, he was very surprised. He said, "Why are you telling? He could have told lies, and we already searched him, we didn't find, and he could have escaped." So he said, "No, my mother said don't tell lies." So I cannot tell lies because I have to follow my mother. So the dacoit, this robber, he was so pleased with him that he gave not only his 40 rupees back, but everybody's. And everybody was saved because of one person is telling the truth, speaking the truth. So Indra, he speaks the truth and he tells that what actually happened and how this 49 children came into existence. So he says, Ambateham Vyavasitam Usdharyagatvantikam Labdhantarochidam Garbham Arthabuddhirna Dharmavit. So he says, he calls her mother, of course his mother's sister. He says, mother, now she is more like a mother because he also went in and came out. Because son is one who is born from the womb. So he also went inside the womb of Diti and came out. So he is also like a son now. So he said, Amba, mother, teham, vyavasitum updharya. That when I heard your resolve, when I understood that what you are trying to do, you want a son to kill me, then I came here. Agatavantikam, I came near to you. And what did I do? Labdhantaro chidam garbham. And I cut your womb into pieces when I got the opportunity. Artha buddhirna dharmavit. He says, therefore I was doing the service to you with a motive, not with the intention of dharma. So he says, not that I want to do service and to please you, but artha buddhi. My only intention was that somehow I protect myself from the danger. So he spoke clearly. So of course, if Diti wanted, she could have become upset, but then she thought that he has served me for 1 year. And now I cannot get angry at her. And anyway, for 1 year she was practicing to be peaceful, eating the nice sattvic diet. So she controlled her. And she was actually happy. I think that vengeance, the desire to take revenge, it was lost in the process. And this is what actually Kashyapa wanted. So although he did Sakam Bhakti, he did service with a material motive, but still he was successful in pleasing her. And not only achieved his goal, that is not giving her birth to a son who will kill him, and thus protecting his life, but at the same time he pleased her and he got 49 associates to help him. So therefore bhakti is good even if it is done with sakam, the motive. That's why Krishna said, Chaturvida bhajante mam janasu kritina arjuna arto jigyasu artharthi jnani cha bhakta. 4 types of people, they worship me. And out of these 4, 3 are with some motive. Distressed, artha, jigyasu, looking for knowledge, artharthi, those who want some wealth. So they approach, but Krishna says, Sarve Udarata, that they are all generous. He appreciates all of them. But at least they are acknowledging that there is God and He is supreme. And they have faith that He can fulfill our desire. Otherwise, why would they approach Him? So even this is good. And if one does that, then Lord, He not only fulfills the material desire, but also gives more than that. Makes one free from material desire. So that is meaning of this verse. It's not much commentary on the verses. So Ditya niskapatam mukte sati indropi niskapatam eva ambaiti. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that just as Diti, she spoke plainly, she did not hide. She also said that I only wanted one son who could kill Indra. So how is that I got 49? So then Indra thought that if she is speaking the truth, I also speak the truth. So this is another thing, that our behavior also influences others' behavior. If we behave rightly, properly, then we also influence others. Yaded acharti sreshta tattade vitarajanam. It says that as is the behavior of a leader, the other common people follow. So especially the behavior of leader is very influential on common. But even otherwise, everybody's behavior has an influence on others. So because Diti was truthful, then Indra also was truthful. Labdhantara prapta kshidra devashitam vishikam tadeva. So he said, when I got the chance, then I tried to destroy the baby. Ritto me saptadha garbha asam sapta kumaraha te piche ke ek shobhitnaha saptadha napi mamrile. So he said that, now he is telling the truth. He said, I cut the womb in 7 parts and they turned into 7 babies. Of course, I don't know how they were there, 49 of them inside this little space.
They were small probably.
Small?
Yeah.
Okay. Thumb size. So that's why she didn't have problem in delivering, because they are too small. It came out easily. If it was one big one, then there will be much pain. But they are all 49 small ones, but when they came out, they immediately grew up. Then they were standing smiling. So this is a good way of delivering. And then he says that when they became 7 living babies, then I cut 7 of them into 7 each. Must be quite cruel to do that. And doing it inside. How he was doing it inside, in that tight chamber, and without hurting the mother. So he must be using some yogic power to do that. Because earlier it was called Yogesha. Indra was called Yogesha. He was also a great yogi. And right, how is that you are cutting inside and the mother is not hurt? So it must be possible to do that. So he says, Tepi chek eksho vipna saptadha napi madhuri. He says, I cut them each one into 7, like you take a cucumber. Cut into 7 and each one becomes a full cucumber. And then you cut it again, and then each piece becomes a complete cucumber. So that's what happened. He says, they did not die, na mamrire. They remain alive. Tatastat parma ascharyam Vikshadhya vishatam vasitam maya Mahapurusha pujaya siddhi kapyanu sangini. So he says that when I saw this, I was very surprised. Paramashchar. Because this is obviously something to be wondered at. First of all, you cut somebody and that each part becomes a living human being. That itself is a surprise. And then he cuts again and they all become. So now he became scared if he cuts again. 49 into 7. That will be too much. So he stopped, that they can start attacking him. So he did not do more than that. But he said, I was very surprised seeing this. And then I decided that this is definitely some siddhi, some power, some perfection, which is an outcome of worshipping the Lord. Mahapurusha Pujaya Siddhi Kvapi Anusami. Otherwise, how is such a thing possible? So just as Lord, who is called here as Mahapurusha, he has inconceivable power. Powers, his energy, which can do things which are beyond logic. So beyond logic, by the way, just an announcement from today, I am starting a class on Tark Sangra, if anybody wants to join me.
On which?
Tark Sangra. The entry book of logic.
It'll be down here? Oh.
No.
What time?
What time? After this class. I was thinking 12 o'clock, but I think we will do that class first and then Jayananda's class. Because anyway, Jayananda will also come from there. Right?
Yes.
So we'll first have a Tark Sangra and then grammar. So logic is based on certain principles which we understand with our observation. And then certain phenomena which seem to defy our observation, then we say that this is beyond logic. So just as Lord has such power, Achintya Shakti, so by worshipping Him, one can also gain such power. So Indra, he could understand this, because Indra has also experienced such things in his life. Because Lord told him how to kill Vritrasura. He was amazing. Go and get the bones from the Dadichi. So therefore he understands Mahapurusha Pujaya Siddhi Kvapi Anusangini. So he is making an inference. Now this is called Anyatha Anuppatti Praman. That when something is not known by direct perception, by inference, then we make an assumption, Athapatti. It must be like this. You cannot explain it in any other way. So that's what he is making. Conjecture. Aradhanam bhagavata iha mana nirashushaha yetu nekṣanti api param te svartha kuslasmrita. So this is actually the purpose of this whole story, this verse. Everything else is a story. Why the story is being told? Sukadeva Goswami has no interest in telling stories. He wants to talk about pure love of God. So, this is the essence of this whole Gatha. What is that? Aradhanam bhagavate iha mana nirashusha yetu nekṣanti paramte swartha kuslasmrita. He says that to worship the Supreme Lord, Aradhanam bhagavate iha mana nirashusha, not desiring anything in return, not even liberation. Param means mukti, yetu nekṣanti paramapi te swartha kusla. So he says that these people are the real selfish people. Swarth means selfishness and Kushala means expert. So those who worship the Lord without any desire, anyabhilasita sunyam, they are most selfish. Right? They understand what is most beneficial for themselves. Selfish person means one who works only for his own benefit. So mostly people who are selfish, they are actually not selfish. Because real selfishness lies in worshipping the Lord, not asking anything. Because then you have the Lord Himself. Then what more you want? So therefore it says this Swartha Kushala Smrita. They are most expert. Means they know really what is good for them. Most people are working for nothing. Sthula tu sav ghatinam. It's like you take chaff and you beat it, and nothing will come out of it. Or you take a stick and go to the river and start beating the current of the water. What will you gain? Nothing. Or punching in the air. So these are useless activities. Maybe some exercise, of course, but not anything more than that. So this is called sthula tu sav ghatana, that beating the husk. There is no grain. So people who are working for material gain, who attain something material here in this material world, they are exactly like that. They are basically stupid. They don't know what is beneficial for them. They are wasting their time, their energy, their efforts, and their whole life is a waste. So this is what the conclusion comes out. That those who do not even desire mukti, ye tu naichanti api param te swartha kuslam. So that's what was said in the very beginning of Bhagavatam. Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo dharmat saranam satam. Bhagavatam speaks about Parama Dharma, the supreme Dharma, which is Prema, and which is Projita Kaitava, which is free from all deception. So this word Projita is explained by most commentators, that they say that it means not having desire even for liberation. Prasabdena, Moksha Visandhi Apir Nirasta. What Srila Swami writes, that even the desire for moksha is denied. So same thing is said here, and that's why you understand the meaning of a book, what is stated in the very beginning. That's why it is important to know that. And then you know that how all the meanings are interconnected. Otherwise one may start thinking what this story has to do with what was promised in the very beginning, that this book is going to speak about Karma Dharma, and now it's talking about Diti doing its vrata. So, in this conclusion, you understand. So this is called Sangati. This is what we were reading about. 7 types of Sangati. Shastra Sangati, Skanda Sangati, Prakarana Sangati, Adhyaya Sangati, Vakya Sangati, right? Sloka Sangati, Vakya Sangati, and Akshara Sangati. Everything in Bhagavatam is interconnected with that one thing. Projita Kaitava Paramana. Everything is connected in that. So once you know that, then you can see how it is connected. So this is how the conclusion is coming. So now you understand that this story here is not to criticize women, although there are some slokas here which Kashyapa was speaking. Because you understand what is the conclusion, what was in the beginning, what is in the end. And in the middle, if something is spoken, then it has to be understood with the intention of the speaker. Otherwise we make mistake and we say, oh, Bhagavatam is saying that women are crazy. This will not be trusted. very, very harsh. That's not the intention. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti, he comments, Param moksham api, param means moksha, swartha kusla iti tene, to aradhanena moksham icchanti, te vartaman mahanidher vinamayena, pranarthina swarthana bhijya, kintu vishaya shadgunyat tepi katartha eva. So he says that those who are worshipping and then they desire moksha in exchange of their worship, so they do not understand that they are simply asking for grass and they can actually have philosopher's stone. So Vartaman Mahanidher Vinamayena is actually saying that what they are saying is that you take this philosopher's stone and please give me a bunch of grass. So that's how the stupid they are. Because they are worshipping the Lord, and in exchange of worship, in exchange of bhakti, which is that which is the very heart of the Lord, which controls the Lord, they are saying, give me a few dollars. So it's like you have tons of gold and you give it to somebody, says, take this gold, give me a piece of paper. So it says, Tranarthana, Swarthana Bhigya. He says, therefore they do not understand what is really good for them. What will really make them happy, satisfied, fulfilled. But he makes one twist, which is very interesting. He says, Kintu Vishaya Shadgunyat Tepi Kritarthai. He says, because of the characteristic of Vishaya, they also become perfect. So there are three types of characteristics or powers. One is the power of the person who is performing the activity. Other is the power of the process. And third is the power what you are trying to achieve. So in case of bhakti, because the Lord himself is so powerful that even if you approach him with a material motive, you are still successful. Not because of your intelligence, but because of his greatness. So this is called prameyable, or the power of the object you are approaching. So bhakti is very powerful, and Lord is very powerful. And better will be that the person who is executing is also powerful in the sense that does not harbor any material motives. Then it is perfect. But even if he or she is harboring some material motive, still the perfection will come because of the strength of the process and strength of the Lord himself is the object of the process. So that is the meaning of Vishaya Shadguna. Te api kritarthaya. Yaduktam, therefore it is said in Bhagavatam, Satyam disti disati arthitam arthitam nirnam naivarthado yat punararthita yataha swayam vidatte bhajatam anikshatam ichcha pidhana vijapada pallavam. So this verse says that it is true that Lord, he gives what people ask him. If you sincerely approach God, then he gives what you need. Naivarthado yataha punararthitaya. But he does not feel satisfied with that because you will go and bother him again. So naivarthado punararthita yatha, because he will ask again. So then what he does, he understands that this person will, I give him, then he will come again, I give him, he will come again. So swam vidattate bhajatam anishatam. So even when you don't want it, then ichha pradhanam is padapalam. What he does is that ichha pradhanam, he covers the very source of your desire with his foot. So the desires, they originate in the mind, right? So he places his foot inside your mind and you start thinking of his foot. And you don't ask. So then you don't bother. He says, look here. So you get so enchanted by his feet that you forget anything material because they're so wonderful. So that's why Lord says that even those who approach material, they are also generous, they are also brave. Actually, it's interesting that he is calling them udara. It's very generous because they are giving something back to the Lord what he has given to them. Otherwise, people are just using their mind, body, senses only for attaining something material. So he feels satisfied if one makes some offering and then he wants to give more to that person. So then he gives himself, his own Padapalam, which means he gives devotion, which means that he makes your mind free from material desires. You will not desire them. That means you understand